Nobody knows how the future of AI is going to play out. Not me, not the CEO of an AI company, not the economist, not anyone else in the world. And that's not the real threat. I personally believe the real threat is thinking too much about AI and how this is going to affect the world. Something I've been struggling with recently is figuring out, what I want to do in the future, or what I want my work to look like. And what I've found myself is I've been fretting and stressing about what work will matter in the future, and if the work I'm doing now, for example this YouTube video, will actually matter in the future. Will YouTube exist? Will content creators exist? Or will AI create personalized videos for everyone? And us as young people need to be very careful about that. There's other people I personally know that I feel like have tapped out of life because of uncertainty. And I don't think I'm the only young person feeling this way. When you go on platforms like X and on social media, there's a whole heap of talk of the permanent underclass, the idea being that there's only a few years before AI gets in the hand of wealthy and powerful people, and that nobody else can escape because their labor is worth nothing. And I think an interesting thing is that I think a lot of this, and the way I've been feeling, is actually a sort of a form of procrastination. It's easier for me to sit and wonder in 10 years time, what the next job is, or what the next career move is, or where the world will be at. It's a lot easier for me to sit and just think about that than rather than get up and maybe film a video. It's a lot more fun to just sit and think and fret about things than it is actually to do things. Nobody knows what the future will look like. That is not written yet. So there's no point in me thinking about it. I can't control what developments these frontier AI labs make, what jobs get automated away. I can't control any of that. All I control is how I react. And personally, I've been looking around to see throughout history if have other young people felt this way before, or are we totally unique in feeling this sort of complete uncertainty in where we want our lives to go and the direction our lives could take. And so as I've been looking around, I found an interesting parallel between the era that we're living in right now and the invention of nuclear weapons. There was a large amount of people, especially young people, when reading their personal essays about living through the invention of nuclear weapons, they often went to sleep not knowing if they would wake up tomorrow, especially during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And so, how were they able to plan a life or move ahead with their life when they didn't even know if they were going to be alive the next day? The US government was teaching children how to prepare and how to take cover during the event of a nuclear missile strike. That's how uncertain the world was back then. And so that really put things in perspective to me. It's very easy for us to fret and think about the worst outcome possible because that's human nature and that's how we survive. The humans that survived when we were evolving from apes weren't the ones that were relaxed and at peace. They were the ones that were anxious and stressed and fretting about the future because they were better prepared. And so I just remember and remind myself that this is just human nature to feel this way. And that's okay. Just because something is uncertain doesn't mean it's going to be bad. That is just part of human nature to think that. But that doesn't mean that is true or that is fact. During the Industrial Revolution, humans could not imagine the world that we live in now and how many people escaped poverty due to the Industrial Revolution. And so, I choose to think about the positives instead of the negatives. AI is and could be a huge threat, but the reality is there is a huge amount of upside, and I think personally significant more upside to humanity than the invention of something like nuclear weapons. So I'm actually really lucky to be living through a technological revolution where, there still is a huge potential for upside and for great things to happen. And you look at their time that there was a threat of nuclear war and that could likely happen versus AI being the end of humanity. Right now, that doesn't really seem that likely for most people, and so I'm very lucky in that regard. Another thing I need to, I've been trying to remind myself is, let's say in a worst case scenario, the YouTube doesn't exist in 10 years and content creators don't exist, and I could take that and look at, all these videos that I'm doing and all this time I'm thinking about this channel as a waste of time. Let's say I lose the hard skills of creating videos, filming, editing, etc. Let's say that's done by AI. You can't take the soft skills away from me. AI can't take that away from me. AI can't take my confidence I've gained from these videos, sounding like an idiot in front of this camera to a whole heap of people that know me personally. AI can't take away, my improved speaking ability from these videos. There's a whole heap of soft skills that are transferable to whatever human labor looks like or human work looks like into the future. So this is definitely not, a bad play for me to create these videos. So as I end this video, I applaud you And I understand that it's very easy, because I've experienced this myself, to look at the negatives and fret and worry and actually think, what is the point of all this? But I just want to encourage you to focus on the bright side, and a conviction in yourself, and knowing that you will be able to be the best version of yourself and the highest agency version of yourself, to take advantage of the impending potential changes that we're about to see in the world, and that you as a young person are especially well positioned to take advantage of that.